We'll start with Tom Dowd, BrooklynNets.com.
Hey, Patty, how are you? After so many years in San Antonio, is it odd to be heading into training camp with the new team? Are you excited about doing something different? How's the feeling?
Yeah, it's definitely different. Being a part of an organization for so long, it's a new chapter, it's a new start, and one that I'm thoroughly excited for. I think the purpose for the change and the purpose of what we're trying to do here and win a championship is very exciting. So you walk into the locker room of day one and media day and being around the team, it's exciting. And I'm glad that, I've been wanted to play a piece and a role in winning a championship. So it's all exciting. It was one hell of a summer, having the Olympics and the free agency clash. Extraordinary circumstance, I like to say, but the conversations that I had with Steve, with Sean, and with Kevin especially, were conversations I think I'll remember forever. Very, very memorable. And now I'm sitting here with a Brooklyn jersey on, ready to get amongst what should be a very exciting year, with one goal in our mind to win a championship.
Bob Windrum, Nets Daily.
You played with LaMarcus Aldridge both in Portland and in San Antonio. Did you have any discussions with him over the summer about his unretirement, his return, and coming to play with you here in Brooklyn?
Yeah, I can't get rid of the guy. Been trying to shake him for 12 years of my NBA career now. Yeah, look, he's. I didn't actually, as the summer was just so full, with the Olympic campaign, I didn't. But to have a familiar face for me in the locker room is definitely helpful. And to I guess for both of us to watch. Both of us grow and develop over time on different teams and, all on this quest to win an NBA championship. I think it's good for both of us. So, walking in today and seeing him there, first of all, knowing, what he's gone through over recent time, just to see him sitting in the locker room was very, very pleasing. And I know he's been through a lot to be able to get back here. And he's excited and ready to go. So again, I think it'll always come back to that foundation piece of the purpose of why we're all here, and I think that really gets him excited.
Next question is on Zoom. Christian Winfield, New York Daily News.
Hey, Patty, gotta ask first: is that a Brooklyn haircut, or did you get that haircut somewhere else?
This is a Brooklyn haircut right here. I think I got to fit into the culture of Brooklyn. So not bad, yeah. Does it?
That's a good look. That's a good look. That's what I was asking.
Okay, good.
When we spoke to you last, you also said that you were gonna look for some, or you were excited about coffee shops here. Did you find a coffee shop that you liked more than the others?
Oh yeah, definitely. Look, this is something that me and the wife was very excited about being a part of. Is a new culture and being able to immerse ourselves in all of that. And we've been here for 1 week already, and just being able to, I guess, feel the love and, the vibe, and how vibrant the city is, from coffee shops to restaurants to music and arts and buildings. It's all stuff that I think I acknowledge and I appreciate, and I gain a lot of inspiration from all of those things, because at the end of the day, it helps me perform on the court, and I'm able to gain a lot of passion from all of that. I think it's understanding of the name that you wear on the front of your chest and who you're representing in that sense. So I come from a very long way away, a remote island in Australia. So at a young age, I was, going around the island singing, spread love, it's the Brooklyn way, and not really understanding what the hell that phrase meant. To now, fast forward and I have the opportunity to not only feel what that means, but an opportunity to also spread it, you know, as a member of the Brooklyn Nets, something that I'm very passionate about.
Thank you.
Greg Logan, Newsday.
Patty, you mentioned the influence that Kevin Durant had, you know, on your talks and so on. I'm just wondering, could you describe not only your relationship with him, but also with Harden and Irving, and what it's going to be like for you to fit in with those three players in particular, you know, among the leaders on this team?
Yeah, conversation with Kevin was purely about basketball and about the game, and I think I just got so excited to, you know, be able to have the opportunity to learn from his perspective and how he sees the game and approaches the game. Something very, you know, intriguing for me. It's like, you know, any chance that I have to learn and continue to develop and grow, you know, I welcome that. So in terms of piecing the puzzle together, it's yeah, it's going to be exactly that, working out what fits and being able to bringing the pieces together. But we've obviously got very high basketball caliber players here. And I think it all comes off natural instincts for the most part, being able to, you know, bring some structure to all of that when it needs to be, steady the ship. But, you know, on a team with some very high IQ players, which I look forward to feeding off of. All of the excitement, all of the, you know, there'll be ups and downs throughout the season, but you welcome all of that and how you can, you know, acknowledge those moments, how you can learn from it, how you can move on, and figure out how this team can grow to be the last team standing. And all of that starts in the locker room, I think, and you know, how well we can come together. So to jump on a flight now and head off to San Diego for training camp is going to be the starting point for, you know, an exciting journey here.
Simone Sandri, La Gazzetta dello Sport.
Yes, you obviously play a different role in San Antonio compared to the national team. Which role do you envision playing here? Something in between, or kind of going back to what you were giving to the Spurs for so many years?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I think my answer is I am who I am. And I think being able to never lose sight or never lose touch of who I am, because I am the same player. You know, being on the Australian team is who I am, and the confidence that I play with, and the freedom I guess I play with, is something that's very empowering. So to be able to bring that here and find my way with that type of swagger, I guess, is going to be important, just to be in the same locker room as everyone, I think. But I guess, you know, when watching this team last season, and having the conversations with people to be able to get ready for this season, knowing that, you know, it's a free system, and the way that Steve coaches and being able to empower that, I think, is important. And I guess it's just the identity piece at the end of the day is understanding who you are and not try to be someone else that you aren't. So unfortunately, there'll be no dunking from me this year. That's a choice I make, guys. I can dunk.
Brian Mahoney, Associated Press.
We had no doubt. You obviously bounced around the globe this summer. What's your sense of, you know, where we are with the virus right now, and your confidence of, can we get through this season and everything after, you know, 2 very difficult years, the last 2 seasons?
Yeah, it's an interesting point, because now after bouncing around, you know, in a few different countries and protocols, you know, it's learning how to live with it and deal with it and be responsible and protective. And then going back to my family, to a remote place where there's, you know, traditions and elders, traditional elders, right? And I think my perspective of, you know, how this virus can affect a lot of people, I've experienced over, you know, a couple of weeks. So when you come into this environment now, I think everything has been in place for us to, you know, to have a good season and try to keep all the, I guess, distractions and adversity of what we've dealt with aside, so we can focus on our goal here. And also in saying that sense, you know, you're obviously well aware that this thing is obviously still a thing, and we're still going to need to play our part here. But I think it's at a point now where we can, you know, focus a lot more on what we need to do from a basketball team standpoint, as well as being, you know, role models for the community and for the NBA as well. I think is also important.
James Herbert, CBS Sports.
Hey, Patty. Last year, Steve talked a lot about wanting everybody to be a threat at all times on offense. I'm just kind of wondering if that was something you talked to Steve about, and how your game and just sort of the way you move the ball, move without the ball more so even than that, like how that fits with what Steve is trying to do offensively.
Yeah, that did come up in conversation, and something that was obviously very intriguing to me to be a part of, and you know, be another weapon to our already heavy armed offensive game. But I think, you know, that's something that I can bring to this team, is the ability to play both on and off the ball, being able to ping the ball around, fly around, create confusion, create havoc, and, you know, try to be that threat, right? That's a part of the system here, is to continue to be a threat on the floor. And I think if you have that mindset, if everyone has that mindset, it's tough to guard already. It's a good foundation piece, I guess, that you can build from. But without that, you know, you got to start with the competitive spirit. I think that's first and foremost, and something that I, you know, truly believe in. You can say all of that, X's and O's and whatnot, but you got to have the competitive spirit to come out each and every night and understand that, you know, every possession counts, every game counts on the road to being the last team standing. So that experience, I think, and that firepower within, I think, just adds to all of that, you know, offensive and defensive threats.
Back to Zoom, Christian Winfield.
Hey, Patty, you know, I had asked both Blake and Paul about what it's like to play against you, seeing as though they were both out west while you were in San Antonio. And Blake said, you know, every team that has stars needs that one guy who can make a big play or hit a big shot or set somebody else up. And Paul said, hey, you know, you were the captain of that second unit, which was a damn good second unit in his words. So does that kind of make, I mean, do you think that makes you just like a perfect fit for this Nets team right now, given that that's kind of what this team needs right now?
Yeah, I think so. It's, I guess, having this experience, you know, in an NBA environment for so long now, and it's something that I learned from Manu Ginobili, and being able to learn from him on a day-to-day basis that I can take into here. But it is all of those things, you know, taking pride in your role and what you need to do for the betterment of the team, to be the last team standing, I think is important. But yeah, it's, I guess, really taking leadership in that standpoint. But you know, this is all new to me, as you know, being a new chapter in a new life, and getting to know my teammates on a different level, like Paul and Blake has been good over the last few days, and really excited to growing those relationships even further, so that we can have those connects on the court. And you know, my experience of watching both of those two guys is something that I get excited about wanting to play with, and I think we can complement, you know, our games very well, playing on the court.